This is We the Sales Engineers Podcast, show 289.
Welcome to We the SEs Podcast, the show for sales engineers by sales engineers with your host, Ramsey Majaba.
What's up, SE Nation? Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, known as Ramsey Majaba, known as many things. My mom called me Ramsey. This is already starting in a weird way. All right. Today it's a solo show, and I wanted to talk about a little bit of an advanced topic, which is account planning. Account planning is not something that SEs talk about or get involved in too much, but I want to talk about it a little bit. I want to state the case of why SEs should be involved. And there are a few questions I want to answer about it. Basically, what is it, who's responsible for it, and how do we do it? If you disagree with anything I say, that's excellent. I want to know. So if you can share that with me somewhere, whether you connect with me on LinkedIn and tell me, Ramsey, you're an idiot, or anything. Well, don't say that. Tell me why. I want to learn, right? These are my thoughts, and I'm open to other thoughts because that's the only way to learn. So, if you disagree with anything, let me know what it is. Why do you disagree, and what's the alternative? If you think that SEs should not be involved in account planning, I can tell you right now, you're wrong. I'll state my case throughout, and you'll see why. So you better come back with a very good defense of why they shouldn't be. Or if you think they should be doing something different, also let me know. So let's start off by actually defining account planning. So I did a quick search, and according to Gartner, and I'll leave a link to that in the show notes, this is how they define account planning, which I would say differently, but let's talk about that first, and then we can discuss. Then I can share what I think. Account planning is the process of mapping out important details about a new prospect or existing customer, including information about their decision-making process, the companies you're competing with to close them, and overall strategy to win them over, retain, and grow. Actually, now that I read it again, I mostly agree with that definition. But here's how I would state it. SEs or salespeople are usually given quota they have to hit. And the good salespeople know exactly how they're going to hit it. How do they know it? They know it by doing account planning, by understanding what's out there in the world, like from customers, whether they're prospects or existing customers, if you don't have a customer success team, that is. And then how to work with them, how to actually help them make decisions, which in turn helps them buy from you. So I think that's how I would personally define an account plan. Now, who is responsible for an account plan? In all cases, it's the account manager that is responsible for the account plan, because they're the ones on the hook. They need to make their sales. And customer success, to an extent, could be also responsible for account plans for existing customers, especially if they want to upsell or get growth out of them. But generally speaking, sales teams, salespeople, account directors are responsible for the account plan. Basically, how much quota they have and how they're going to achieve it. Let's just put it that way. So why should an SE care? Well, and many SEs are quota based as well, right? The commission is not as high as the salespeople. Salespeople can have 0% base and 100% commission. I haven't seen that often or ever. Sales, it could be 50-50, it could be 60-40. So a big chunk of their salary is commission. SEs, on the other hand, it varies from 70-30 to 90-10. There are other ways people calculate it, whereas like it's a percentage of base. I like to look at the total salary and see what percentage is base, what percentage is quota as commission. It just makes my life easier, but other people do math differently. So SEs are tied to quota, and it's good to know. Well, some SEs are tied to quota, and it's good to know where they're gonna how they're going to hit that quota. And the big thing is, my AE was full of crap. So whenever my AE did an account plan and then he had to review it with the director or VP, he couldn't, or he would basically flat out lie. And the director would always invite me into those calls to make sure that the sales person is not lying. And why do you care? How does it help? Well, the main reason you care is if the AE doesn't know how they're going to hit their quota and they're lying to their director just to get through this initial account plan, which is also known as a torture session for account managers, that means we have to push them to actually go and find opportunities for us so we can do our job. And that's the main reason I care. I want the AE to tell the truth to the VP so that the VP can push them in the same direction I want them to go, which is to get more deals. And also, if the AE, maybe the AE is not full of crap, maybe just they're misinformed. It's my job to actually help them understand that they're misinformed. And if you're counting on this to come in, unless you have some information that I don't, then it's not going to come in. And you're going to have to look for somewhere else. So that's from the negative side. And I like to balance it out. From the positive side, I always want to have, I want to understand what their goal is. And I want to have a common goal with my account manager or managers. I want to know what they want to do and how they want to do it so that I can help them with it. If they're keeping me in the dark, I cannot help. If I don't understand what they want and how I can help, I won't be able to. And that means if they tell me like, hey, Ramsey, we're going after this customer, this customer, this customer, and we're planning on selling this product, and that product to these different people, that means I can actually work independently of them. I can talk to my contacts and see if anyone can refer me to other people within the company so I can help the account manager get what they want to get. I can work independently from my account manager and help them achieve our common goal. The goal, salespeople are the leaders of the territory. We follow their lead. If we're blind and we don't know where they're going, we cannot follow. We're going to have to, instead of being able to divert and come back together, we have to be behind them. And basically that means they're doing most of the work and we're being reactive. And I don't like to be reactive. I like to be proactive as an SE, or right now as a salesperson. I like my SE to be proactive. I like them to come to me and say like, hey, I just talked to that person and they need this, which helps us achieve our goal that you discussed the other day. So all this is very helpful. Now, one thing that is outside of the account planning, we had Mohammed Barkhad on the podcast a few weeks ago. I'll leave a link to his episode in the show notes as well. And he talked about, he wasn't doing an account plan, but he was meeting customers. And in order to understand what the business is going to be next year. So that could be part of the account plan, like meeting existing customers who we work with over and over and see what their plan is for next year. And the plan for the customer was to cut purchasing from his company and go to the cloud. Which meant for Mohammed that he knew he's in the wrong line of work, wrong industry. Maybe he should move into the cloud. So he ended up leaving the company and moving into another company so he can work and sell into help that customer out because he knew exactly where the account was going. And so it helps you structure your career. If the quota that you're provided is $5 million and you can only hit $2 million, which means you're hitting a very small amount of your quota, and it happens over and over, then you know that you're in the wrong company. But also, it helps the salesperson negotiate with management. If the account plan is done before the quota is provided, then they know exactly how much they're going to be able to sell, generally speaking. It's not an exact science, it's an estimate or a guesstimate. So when they're talking to management's about to give them their quota, or they can start negotiating ahead of time, say like, hey, I'm seeing this in the industry, watch out. They can negotiate with management. It doesn't always work. Management will give you the quota that they want, but at least you can try. And also, if you don't hit your quota, you can kind of defend yourself. Like I told you before this even happened, that what you're giving me is too high. I already told you how much we're gonna get, and you didn't believe me. So this is why SEs should care. Now, who would not participate in an account plan? So we said the salesperson should participate in SEs, but not every SE can participate. It's difficult, especially for like if we talk about small to medium business SEs or inside SEs, whose job is to just jump on a demo after demo after demo after demo, and they're really dependent on leads coming in from marketing. Then it'll be very difficult for an SE to actually participate in a marketing plan, or not a marketing, in a account plan. So that's the same for small to medium SMB SEs, which is small to medium SEs, medium business SEs, or inside SEs. Inside SEs are people who sit behind a desk and just do demo after demo. Then you have junior SEs don't participate. When I joined the company, the first year I didn't participate in an account plan. I don't think my salesperson participated in an account plan either, but that's a different story. But the more you gain experience, the more you're able to participate and actually add value. You might sit there and listen, but you want to be able to add value, and that comes with experience, like everything else. Pooled SEs, the SE manager might participate in an account plan, but I don't think the individual SEs. And if you're a pooled SE, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. I don't see how they'd be able to actually participate in an account plan because they don't own accounts. They just jump on opportunities. And I'll also say the same for SEs covering more than like a large number of AEs, even if they're not a pooled SE. But if you have one SE covering 5 AEs, then this person's pretty busy just jumping from call to another. They're very in a reactive mode as far as I can see. Also, SEs with no repeat customers, I would think it's difficult to actually do account plans because they're always dependent on new leads, and unless the major this leaves pretty much enterprise SEs. SEs who are covering between 1 to 3 account managers, and they either have territory or named accounts. And when we talk about enterprise AEs and SEs, they usually have repeat business. So I worked with customer A last year and they bought this much. And I know their business, and it seems that this year they're going to need this product, which means they're going to buy that much. So it makes it easier to account plan. Right? And when you have named accounts, that means you just have 2, 3, 5 accounts that you're working with over and over and over again. And if you have a territory, you usually have a couple of big accounts and then multiple smaller ones. So you might not be 100% accurate, but you would be better than most. So again, account managers are responsible for account planning. SEs participate, and a good SE is able to influence. So the question is, how do you account plan? How can one account plan? And this is my clients that do this work, either support one AE or one SE, and the way they do it is they sit together, and the first step is like they have a table and they list all the accounts that they work with today on the side. And when I say all the accounts, it could be like one account, let's say Government of Canada, and within that one account you have multiple sub accounts: Shared Services, Department of Defense, RCMP, regional municipalities. All of these are, although they're the same account under the same, I guess, government industry, there are different accounts on there. So it could be like SLED, and you have all the different accounts there. So they're listing everything. But for me, I work with larger organizations. Each organization has 6 or 7 different teams that work with us separately or independently. So we list all of them. Okay? And we also list the companies that we would like to help. We'd like to start talking to and hopefully selling to. So it's not just the whatever I have today, because that's only useful for people who work with repeat customers. For those who don't, but have large enterprises they want to go after, they could have the list of new customers they want to go after. It's called new logos, trying to acquire. So that's the first thing. List all the companies that you've worked with or want to work with. Then I like to have historical data, the last few years. What are the products that we sold? How much the total value was? All that information available on there as well. Because our job is to help our customers, we need to understand what they need help with. So we need to understand what their vision is, their goal, their mandate, whatever it is. And it could be different to different teams within the organization as well. It's not just the organization as a whole, it's different teams. So we have to list that. It could be like team A is increase productivity by X%, or reduce bugs by 5%, or resolve tickets by X%. And you get that information by talking to people. And it's not just one time where you're talking throughout the year over and over and capturing this information. Then I like to have, by the way, this table is in no particular order. Right? You can move it whichever way you see fit, but that's how I thought about it. Then I want to have the product or services that can help them achieve their goal. It could be one product, it could be multiple products. It could be a service, or it could be nothing. Like, we got nothing to help them with this. So at that point, we know we're going to get $0 out of that opportunity. I like to have a list of the contacts, champions, influencers who are with us, who are against us. I have that as well. And then the value of the products that we're going to provide. Then, this is all great in theory. The question is, what happens when things go wrong? So what could possibly go wrong, actually? What is the risk? Why wouldn't they buy? For example, a lot of my customers who sell hardware, they sold a lot of stuff, but because of component shortages, they couldn't ship anything, at least a couple of years ago, which meant that they couldn't recognize revenue, and that meant they didn't have enough budget to buy more stuff. So that's a risk. What other risks are out there? The main risk out there for most people is competitive strategy. The biggest competition I ever find is the do nothing or in-house solution. When would they go that route? So I want to understand that, because that's something I can help with. As an SE, I can show the value of our product, whether it's against an actual competition or whether it's against their own internal tools. I also want to understand why they previously bought. How did we help them at that time? Why did they make the decision to go with us? The last thing, there are many things you can add. Actually, Coda, Eric Glick, he works at Coda. He created a great account plan. It's not a table or anything. It's you create a new template, I guess, for each customer. But it's great. I'll try to find it and leave a link in the show notes as well. And then the last thing is, what's the action plan? How are we going to attack it? So if you want to go back and actually build that table, I'm just going to repeat it quickly. Account names, you list all of that. That's 1. 2, historical data. 3, customer's vision. 4, products or services. 5, contact. 6, the value of the product. 7, risk. 8, competitive strategy. 9, previous purchases. And 10, action plan. Now, the big thing here is, and this is something that one of my clients said, is make it official. We can talk about this. I can talk to my salesperson all day, and then when it's time to actually implement it, they go and do something else, because it was never official, it was never written down, it was never attached to Slack, or whatever like Quip. Sorry, that's Slack. Salesforce or Quip or any of the tools that are used to account plan. If it's not official, it's hard to hold anyone accountable. Right now, you have accountability between yourself and your account manager. You said you're going to do this. I said I'm going to do that. Let's go do it. But I've had many conversations with account managers where we agree on one thing and then they change their mind halfway through and go do something else. So I wrote something here which I don't understand. Okay. Well, I don't know what I said here, but if you want to add something to this plan, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you found this video useful, enjoyable, share it with whoever else you think might get use of it. Leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or YouTube Podcasts. And let me know your thoughts. How would you build an account plan? Do you see a point in building an account plan? I do, obviously. I am biased. So that's it for today. It's a shorter episode. I hope you get use of it and now you can get back to work. With that, I'm signing off.